Hello everyone, good evening. All the CS executive students and the students especially who are writing in December, economic and commercial laws. I would like to bring you some important topics, and these important topics definitely would help you to read these days and study these days very smartly and make sure that you would be able to get at least 60. My aim is to ensure that you will be confident after reading these topics which I'm going to bring you today. You will definitely be able to write all these answers with confidence. All right. How to pass ECL paper in 15 days. I know most of you are so excited. I'm not going to give you a kind of trick where you can just pass in 15 days. I'm going to tell you what to read first of all, because most of the times, many students are getting confused as to what exactly is to be read. Friends, you understand always one thing. It is not exactly how you understood, whether you read it properly or not, you studied properly or not. You need to understand first what to study during these last 15 to 20 days. These last 15 to 20 days, if you could focus, I'm sure you will be able to crack this exam very easily. All of you know, in company secretary course, executive level, group 1, especially the module 1, module 1, economic and commercial laws is going to play a key role. Especially there are 4 papers. If you out of these 4 papers, costing, it's an objective type, definitely you can crack it if you could remember the formulas, etc. And next thing is you have got tax laws, again objective. I'm sure you can make it. But when it comes to company law and when it comes to ECL, you need to be very smart and very hardworking, and you have to cover what is important first of all. All right, let's look at this. I brought before you today certain topics which will at least guarantee you to score at least 50 to 60, so that you will pass out this exam last moment. If in case you have been reading entire syllabus, my sincere advice, please depend on you are reading completely. If in case you are still in dilemma as to what exactly is to be read, these slides are going to be helping you. Let's look at the least important topics. These topics, you see, this analysis I have made only based on previous exam papers. Almost I have done a lot of research on last 5 question papers, 5 exam question papers. Based on that, I'm trying to give you exactly the chapters or topics which are going to be very important and which will help you definitely to clear the exam. All right, so least important in the sense, I'm not saying that you should ignore them completely, but I'm going to tell you very clearly that these things can be ignored last moment. But if you think that you have already read, and I sincerely advise you to go through them. Special Economic Zones Act, Geographical Indications Act, Designs Act, Legal Metrology Act, Micro and Small Medium Enterprises Act. These acts would maybe fetch you 15 to 20 marks, not more than that. But if in case you are able to read 1 or 2 chapters, or you already have read 1 or 2 chapters and you're confident about it, please go ahead with that. But if in case last moment you don't have time to revise everything, my sincere advice, you can simply give less importance for these chapters. And the next thing, look at the chapters which could give you 15 to 25 marks. Obviously now I'm trying to start from least important to most important. The only reason is because when I give you most important, obviously you will not scroll down and see my the next part of the video. So I'm little scared, and I know your generation, mostly you try to seek shortcut methods to come out of the examination. Don't worry. Definitely this is based on the research that I have done. Maybe 5-10% here and there could be a change, but don't worry about it. But these things would definitely help you. All right, one is Trust Act, the next thing is Societies Act, Industrial Development Act, and we have got Essential Commodities Act, we have got Indian Stamp Act, Registration Act. These things definitely would give you 15 to 25 marks. The first slide, as I told you, that's going to give you maximum 15 marks. Maybe 3 questions can be asked, but when it comes to the second one, there is a possibility 5 questions might appear in the examination. So make sure, if you especially if you could see the first slide, these are actually dry acts, not only less important but dry acts. If you could see Geographical Indications, Designs Act, Legal Metrology, you will definitely feel tired of reading them. But when it comes to special economic zone and MSMED, little interesting, so make sure you read them. And geographical indications act, one advantage is it's very small act. So why don't you finish special economic zones, geographical indication, and MSMED? You can increase your confidence level. The next thing is, if you could look at Trust Act, Society Act, very interesting acts. And again, Registration Act is very interesting. Industrial development, like types of industries, these are all very, so Trust Act, Societies Act, Industrial Development Act, and Registration Act are very interesting. Technically speaking, you can remember things whatever you read. Okay, so if you think that you can't cover all this stuff, you can pick up some chapters and start going through. But I can tell you, this is maximum. I mean, last year, before last year, if you could see, 15 to 20 marks worth questions have appeared in these slides. Sorry, in these lessons. The next thing, most important, you guys have to read. No option at all. I'm telling you, first think very clearly. There are no options other than these chapters. The moment you start thinking that if not this, what else? If not this chapter, what else? Don't say all these chapters. My sincere advice, if you're really serious to score 50 to 60 marks, make sure you cover this up at any cost. There is Anti-Money Laundering Act, Transfer of Property Act, mostly theory practical kind of. Transfer of property, one advantage, there is a possibility you will have a practical question. And Indian Contract Act, 2 questions definitely would come, especially section 1 to section 75. 2 questions there is a possibility, yes, you can get. Then intellectual property rights, under that there are three sub things, that is Patent Act, Trademarks Act, Copyrights Act, Competition Act of 2002, Consumer Protection Act of 1986, and FEMA, Foreign Contributions Act, Arbitration Act, Environmental Protection. Under that, basically, there are three important things, that is National Green Tribunal Act, Public Liability Insurance Act, Air and Water Act. Last, Air and Water, one of these two, every time they are interchanging. So try to have at least one of these act very perfect. So if you could see, I'm telling you, Anti-Money Laundering Act, Transfer of Property Act, Indian Contract Act, Competition Act, FEMA, Arbitration. If you could read, almost 40 marks are yours. 100% you will definitely get. Guys, I'm not saying that these are going to be appearing. I'm only saying based on the analysis that I've made past 4 years examinations. So based on that analysis, I would definitely tell you these chapters would, last moment, this is only going to help, this will help you only at the last moment, because you are like you are in dilemma as to number of days are very less. So take up these chapters. If you could see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15, overall 15 days, each day one act. If you could do also, I'm sure you're going to make it up to 50 to 60. Guys, as you all know, results percentage of executive is not that very good. It's not because there is something going on that ICSI doesn't want you to become company secretaries. The standard of the question papers have been increased. Practical questions they are asking. Most of the questions, if you could see, they are trying to test your concepts, and they're trying to test your patience most of all. So make sure you are very clear with the concepts. If instead of attempting everything, it's better to have a clarity as to what has to be attempted, and make sure you have an in-depth knowledge in those things, and definitely you would be able to do it. All right, so once again, I'm showing you these least important 15 marks, special economic zone, geographical indication, MSMED. But in this there are three interesting, very technical, special economic zones, MSMED, geographical indications. Pick up those three and finish it off. The next thing, if you could see, Trust Act, Societies Act, Industrial Development Act, and Registration Act. Very interesting technically. Takes very less amount of time to finish. So make sure you focus on these things at least. Then when it comes to this, I'm not going to give you any option. Make sure first you finish these chapters, then go to the next level, then go to the third level. All right. So in this way, if you could do, definitely you can make it a little better, and your confidence level would definitely increase. 70 marks worth you can easily attempt. So last few days, without wasting time, as I told you in my last video about company law, and when you read the chapter, 15 days each chapter, I mean each day one chapter you are reading, make sure that you write answers. pick up the questions and write the answers, pick up the question and write the answers. Like this, if you go on doing, definitely you will have a good practice and you will be able to answer questions properly. Above all, take care of your health and make sure these days you're not falling sick. Eat well, sleep well, and think well. Avoid all social media and make sure you spend a lot of time on books rather than on phones, except watching this video. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. God bless you.